Uncertainty. This is a very interesting topic that I want to share some thoughts on because I've experienced the discomfort of uncertainty in my personal life. I even sometimes experience it with clients because I have no clue what a client's going to tell me in the session. I have absolutely no clue. And I've heard some very sad, shocking things in past sessions that I just was not you're not prepared for. You can never be prepared for, and so with the unknown and the uncertainty, you're dealing with your ability to react in the moment when it counts. So I want to unpack this more. So there was a study that was conducted where they took two groups of people and put them in a room. Now, for one group, they told them, you'll each receive a mild shock, like a mild electric shock. It's not going to hurt you, but you're going to each receive it. And with the other group, they told them, you might receive a mild shock. Again, it's not going to hurt you, but it's like a 50-50 chance. Turns out it wasn't the group that were told they were going to get a shock that were anxious. It was the group that were told they might get a shock. So the group that might get a shock, they have a 50% chance of not even getting a shock at all, yet they were the most anxious. And they determined it's because of the uncertainty. They didn't know whether or not they were getting it. They felt out of control. There were so many elements to not being certain about what was going to happen. This was all playing on their anxiety. And I want to unpack why this is the case. Because in theory, the group, if you're in a group that's being told you're going to get a shock no matter what, you would think that's going to be quite more stressful than the other group where there's a chance you're not going to get it. But that wasn't the case. Why? And I think one of the main reasons that dealing with the unknown and dealing with uncertainty is so anxiety provoking is because we have to rely on our own thoughts about what might or might not happen. All of a sudden, because you're not aware of your future, because you're not aware of what's going to happen, and it could be even anything. It could be about the security of your job. It could be about a relationship ending. It could be about anything in your life. You start going to your thoughts. Well, if this happens, how am I going to react? Or what am I going to do if this happens? Well, worst case scenario, this will happen. You start playing out narratives in your head. And because you're having these thoughts and sometimes very intense thoughts, you start feeling the anxiety as you're having those thoughts, because the body doesn't know the difference between something that's actually happened and something that's not yet happened. The emotion's the emotion. You might be in a life-threatening situation, or you might think about a life-threatening situation. You are going to get a similar response. You're going to feel stressed even just thinking about it, even if it's not happened. So this is why I think it's one of the main reasons that I've seen with clients where their thoughts drive them to sickness. They drives them to stress, purely based on the fact that they don't know what's going to happen. During this process of preparing for the worst, imagining what might happen or what might not happen, and all of this, there's two things that happen. Okay. So firstly, you are thinking and feeling the stress and anxiety of the situation that has not yet happened. And so you're feeling that discomfort, you're feeling that anxiety when it hasn't happened. The second thing is, while this is happening, while you're lost in your thoughts and you're lost in your feelings and your emotions about, I don't know what's going to happen, what might happen, you're preparing for the worst, you're imagining worst case scenario, the thing that you're worried about hasn't happened yet. Yet you're still experiencing the anxiety. So by definition, you have just caused your own stress. But we don't think of it that way. We don't sit there and think, silly me, I've just stressed over nothing. Sometimes we do, but while you're lost in your thoughts, and you're likely probably not aware you're in your thoughts until you have to stop and realize, God, Where am I? You're feeling that stress. It hasn't happened yet. So there's a deeper question behind this. Why do we do that when the situation that we're worried about hasn't happened yet? Why are we thinking about it obsessively and feeling stressed before the thing has even happened? What is that about? And this is where it comes to dealing with the unknown and dealing with certainty, because dealing with uncertainty, because we're not very good at that. We, for some reason, need to have the answers. We need to have the answers, probably in part because we don't feel confident in our ability to manage the problem or situation when it comes. We don't feel confident that we will have the answer when it counts. Maybe that's why we're mentally preparing. So there's a few questions I want you to ask yourself. Okay. Do I trust myself to handle any situation? Can I trust myself enough to just deal with what happens in the moment when it counts? Have I ever made a decision that came spontaneously and I've gone with the flow? Or have I always had to prepare for every situation or outcome? Am I aware of the fact that I stress over something that has not yet happened, that could happen, or that is likely to happen? Am I aware that I do that, or do I not even realize I do that? So this might be the first time you're realizing, man, this is me. I always think about things that haven't happened yet because I have to be prepared. But you have to dig under, why do you have to be prepared? Why do you have to have the answer before the things happen? Maybe the thing doesn't happen and you've put yourself through that stress and burned your energy and wasted your time over nothing. Now you might argue back, well, when it does happen, I'll be prepared. Okay, sure. But why can't you just trust yourself to have the answer when it comes? When the situation actually happens? Be in the moment. And this is something that many of my clients struggle with. Now, one of the ways, and again, there are many ways to deal with the unknown and be in the present moment and trust yourself, but one of the ways is to practice mindful meditation. Because meditation is essentially you being present in the moment. You are acknowledging your thoughts as they come in, but you're not paying any psychic attention to them. You are not giving them your energy or attention. You're consciously saying, okay, I've got this thought, I'll deal with you later. For now, I'm just focused on my breathing or the sounds or this picture. It's something that you're grounding you in the moment. That is very, very good because you are building the skill set within you to be in the moment. And that is going to be one of the main kind of hallmarks of how you stay with and deal with the unknown, because anything could happen in any given time. So that's why it's such a powerful exercise. Now, you can also reframe your thoughts about the situation. If you feel that you really struggle to deal with the unknown and you're in your head a lot of the time, one of the things you can do is to do the helicopter view, which just helps to reframe your thoughts. And you can click the link if you want to watch that video. It's just a template to how you structure a very difficult, challenging situation. Maybe it's taking up a lot of your time mentally. This is a really good way to break that down completely. Now, I can share as a counselor that there is value and virtue of the unknown. Whether the situation is good or bad, that happens, there's virtue in the unknown because you learn how to handle the situation as it comes, which serves two purposes. First of all, you are giving yourself the message that I can handle things as they come up. And you save yourself the time and energy and stress of thinking about it beforehand. So why don't you experiment and say, you know what, I'm not going to think about, I'm worried about this thing that's going to come up, next week. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to deal with it when it comes. In the meantime, I'm going to do things for me. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to take time to engage in positive habits or see my friends or do whatever it is that helps to replenish your energy and charge your battery. Do that. Deal with it when it comes. Then see how you are when it comes. That's the only way to find out. And again, we don't think about this intentionally. It's not like we're choosing to think about it and choosing to stress ourselves. We do it as a way to protect ourselves, to be better, as prepared as we can to manage the anxiety, because the anxiety is coming in for a reason. It's saying, you've got this thing coming up in a few days, for example. What is going to happen? Your life might change, you know. So the anxiety is pushing you towards being prepared and mentally prepared and emotionally prepared. It's there for a reason. It's there to protect you. However, there are many situations where it's not going to help. You can think about it all day long, but it may not change what's actually going to happen. So sometimes there's virtue in letting go and trusting that you will do what you need to when the moment comes. This is where the trust comes in, the self-esteem comes in, the self-worth, and the real value and teaching of that, of your ability to handle the unknown. That's what life is. We think we have this routine for ourselves. We go about a daily routine. You go to work, come back, go to the gym, eat, sleep. The reality is anything can happen at any time, and I speak from experience when I say that. It comes out of nowhere. Then it's like a wake-up call. When something happens unexpectedly, it's a wake-up call. Maybe in the future I'll share what happened to me. um, the ultimate solution is believing and knowing that you will handle a situation when it arises and that you don't need to put yourself through unnecessary stress. That is what dealing with the unknown is. That is what dealing with uncertainty is. So I'll finish off the video by saying, take risks, be spontaneous. This, by the way, goes for me too. I'm kind of speaking to myself in a way right now. But be spontaneous, push yourself out your comfort zone, experience new things, and those experiences will teach you just how much potential you have and how much ability you have to handle anything that life throws at you. Thanks for watching.